It's not very good.
I would definitely put it in the top 10.
So good.
It's kind of a mess.
A great work of cinema.
Train wreck.
Beyond a slasher, beyond a jump scare.
More thought has gone into the story.
Respecting the source material.
Extremely gory, extremely violent.
The lighting, the sets, the costuming.
Extremely scary.
Well staged, well shot, well acted.
I saw the comedy for what it is.
Relentless.
It was just really, really good.
This is pretty cool.
Another reason why I think it's
So good.
Will somebody get this big walking carpet out of my way?
Hello, hello, hello out there in YouTube and podcast land. You have reached Johnny Has the Keys, where we talk about horror movies and science fiction films and those key elements that lift and or separate them from the average genre fare. Are you new to us? Well, you have reached a podcast between two old friends that have been talking movies for so many years they care not to admit. It is an unscripted podcast. You don't have to worry about hearing us sound like robots, even though we may be talking about robots.
Yeah.
Or computers or AI.
Yeah.
Anyway, that's what you've walked into. We do horror and sci-fi. We alternate most weeks, and this week is a sci-fi week. If you are returning, you already knew that, and you're glad that we're doing a sci-fi episode today. I am here with my co-host and good friend, David Horton. David, how are you doing?
I'm doing good. I'm doing good. I've got a weird one today. Normally we break the ice by saying something that we've done in our genre-related week, whether it's horror, science fiction, fantasy, thriller, whatever. But I've got a weird one. A lot of projects recently have involved musicals and lighting musicals and working with groups on their musicals, blah, blah, blah. Somebody suggested something to me, so I looked it up, and it's a little thing called Hazbin Hotel, Hazbin Hotel. Have you heard about this?
No, I heard someone talking about has-beens the other day, and that meant they were like once popular lesbians, has-beens.
Really? Okay, I've never heard that term, but
Well, it was on a gay and lesbian podcast. That's why I heard it. I thought it was funny.
Okay. Well, this might be something you might be interested in. You and Dennis might be interested in, blah, blah, blah. At least watching a couple of episodes. They're pretty short. Anyway, it's a series, an animated series that is on, I think, YouTube, because it's created by a girl named Vivian Medrano, and she's a voice actress, musical composer who's done a bunch of YouTube type stuff. She's like a pseudo influencer, if that's a term that is still popular now. I'm not really certain about the evolution of the project, but it came about because a bunch of Broadway stars were jonesing to do some more stuff. Because it's the cast is people like Stephanie Beatrice, Alex Brightman, Kimiko Glenn, who are all big Broadway stars, Broadway musical stars. Alex Brightman was Beetlejuice in the musical. So they're all very talented, very musical, very stuff. It is a musical. It is animated, and it's set in hell. And it is, well, hell and heaven at times. It is hilarious. It is very irreverent, even more irreverent than like South Park. It is crazy in your face, but it is funny. It is popular culturist. There's a gender fluid character in it, and by fluid in hell, that means they can pick whichever gender they want to right then. It's basically a battle between heaven and hell, so it's really good. I think you might enjoy it. They've also got a new spin-off series called Hell of a Boss, which just started, and it's gotten so popular, YouTube or Amazon bought it now and already committed to 4 more seasons.
Interesting.
So, yeah.
Well, when anybody that's in conservative politics is in office, the arts explode.
Yeah.
And with evidence of what you said, Cole Escala, is that his name? Cole, he just won a Grammy for Oh Mary, that play on Broadway. where he is in drag playing Mary Todd Lincoln, and it is, you talk about irreverent. That show is supposed to be extremely irreverent.
Well, this one is too. It really is. Yeah. You have angels going, "What the fuck is going on here?" So,
great.
but it was interesting. It's like the third scene. There's a bartender at the hotel. It follows this girl named Charlie Morningstar, and she is Lucifer's daughter. She's the princess of hell.
Morningstar. That's funny.
Yeah. Her name is Charlie Morningstar, and she sets up a hotel for souls in hell to try to rehabilitate them and push them into heaven.
It's very Anne Rice, if you want to know the truth.
Oh, okay. I didn't know that, but yeah. Mm-hmm. But the bartender at the hotel, he started talking to the characters, and I kept going, I know that voice. What is that voice? I can't. And then he bursts into song, and I went, oh, man, I know who that is. Ended up looking it up. It's Keith David. He plays the bartender in it. So I thought it was really cool.
You know, I always had, I never did it, to turn Alice Cooper Goes to Hell album into a Broadway musical, because the music on the album's amazing.
Yeah.
And the guy that plays the devil has a really deep, soulful voice. And it's just Alice singing in a lower octave. But yeah.
That would be cool.
Yeah.
That would be very cool. Yeah. But anyway, so Hazbin Hotel, look it up. It takes you a day to watch the entire season. But it's hilarious and funny and great.
Hazbin Hotel. Maybe I'll see if I can find that tonight.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, in my genre week, I decided every once in a while I get a few ahead on my genre week so that I have one, not having to find one last minute.
Yeah. Like
so
me.
I have the ability to choose something that may give me a decent segue, or you, in this case, a decent segue.
Oh, look at you being so nice.
And I watched a little ditty from 1977 called Demon Seed.
Ooh, talk about a segue.
Yeah. I had not seen this in quite a while, but it's still fun. It's very hokey with our knowledge of today's technology and smart homes and things like that, because this is essentially a smart home in 1977.
Yeah.
It was directed by Donald Cammell, who died in 1992. Not much of note as far as my notes on him. I don't really know anything else he did. But it was written by Robert Jaffe, and I was like, that name sounds familiar. And I looked him up, and guess what he wrote?
I do not know.
Motel Hell.
Okay.
Didn't that have like some country guy in it? Some country actor, like the guy, kind of like the guy that was in Strange Love. I can't think of his name. Anyway.
Yeah.
Forrest something, maybe. I don't know. The cast is great. It basically is two people. It is Julie Christie and, of course, Fritz Weaver, one of our favorite genre actors. Synopsis is: a child psychologist, Susan Harris, lives with her husband, Alan, in a home operated by a computer program. When Alan invents Proteus 4, this artificial intelligence system capable of advanced thought, it becomes obsessed with human beings, in particular, his wife. And basically, she ends up literally getting impregnated by this computer.
Yes.
And giving birth.
Yes.
It only gets 57% on Rotten Tomatoes with 28 reviews. I'd bump it up a little for nostalgia's sake alone. Maybe it's 60 or 65. It's not a great movie, but it's well worth watching in the whole canon of SF.
Who plays the professor?
Fritz Weaver.
Fritz Weaver. Yeah. There's essentially a pseudo remake. We would call it definitely a key influence film called Tau, T-A-U. I mentioned it on a Genre Week a couple of seasons ago. It's a Netflix movie, but it's the same thing. You have an intelligent AI in this house, and it essentially traps this girl and wants to figure out how to procreate with her. It's really cool. It's not a great film. Demon Seed has more nostalgic charm to it.
Well, Demon Seed was also written by Dean Koontz.
Yeah. So, yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
But it has...
But that's hokey charm.
The AI in Tau is voiced by Gary Oldman, so it's kind of cool.
Yeah, that is cool.
But I remember that one when you mentioned it. Yeah, Demon Seed is. We've talked about it, putting it on the list and everything.
Oh,
so.
it's on the list. You just don't ever choose it.
Well, since we're doing this one this year, maybe next year we'll do Demon Seed. So that's a good segue to sentient computers who do things we don't want them to do and unexpectedly do things. We are covering a film from 1970, so quite a few decades ago, called Colossus, the Forbin Project. Directed by Joseph Sargent. You and I both know him because he also directed the Corbomite maneuver in classic Star Trek just a few years earlier.
I didn't realize. That's the one with that little kid.
Yes. No, Corbomite maneuver is, yes, at the end.
At the
little
end,
kid.
the little Ron Howard brother.
Yeah.
Isn't it? Yeah. Clint Howard.
Clint Howard. Have some Tranya. And they dubbed his voice. Anyway, we're geeks, guys. We're geeks. It was written by James Bridges, who, from a novel by D.F. Jones, but Bridges went on to do China Syndrome, Paper Chase.
Well, he went on to direct, not write. I mean, he may have wrote them, but he also directed those as well.
Yes. Yeah, so he went on to some good stuff. It's basically a synopsis of it in a few short sentences. We begin with showing a massive computer, and by massive meaning it is stories and stories tall and is obviously buried in a mountain. And a scientist is walking along, basically turning it all on and then locking it up and sealing it, so no one can get in. If you've seen the defense system at NORAD, it's built inside a mountain, so it's impregnable. But what this turns out to be is a computer system for the United States that is linked to all of our defensive capabilities. It's felt by the president and his staff that human error is too risky to be controlling nuclear weapons and our defensive system, so let's put it all at the disposal of a smart computer who will just protect us and do it faster than we can. When they turn Colossus on, he immediately senses through all of his technology that there is another system very similar to him that the Soviet Union has. So now we get Cold War escalation. Colossus is more sentient than they ever thought and doing more stuff than they ever think. He wants to link with his brother computer in the other country, and if he doesn't, he's going to fire missiles. And so they link together and basically end up controlling the world. That's the plot of it. Had you seen this movie before?
I had not.
Really?
I had never even heard of this movie before.
Wow. Well, there's kind of a thing about that, but yes.
Well, when you first proposed it, I was calling it something else, the Something Else Project. I couldn't remember, because the Forbidden Project. I was calling it Colossus, the Forbidden Project, because I had no idea what it was. And the one thing that my first impression is that poster is terrible. I don't know who did that poster. That is one event. The main thing in the center, the guy getting shot, is one thing that happens in a brief instance in this movie. It has no real significance to be on the poster.
And the poster, for the podcasters, the poster that Tim's referencing was the second release poster that has basically the attack on the Russian equivalent of Dr. Forbin. And it's very much a James Bond poster. Because that was what was popular at the time, they thought. They thought they could.
Oh, hence him in bed with the woman. Okay.
Correct. Gotcha. They thought they could get the James Bond intrigue audience in here for this silly science fiction film that they didn't like. The studio didn't like. So that's where it came from.
But back to your question, as far as I've never heard of it, so I had never seen it. And I watched it a couple of times because I have it's hard for me to like this movie, but it's also hard for me to hate it. I really can't make up my mind about it.
Really? I'm curious why.
Now, because I respect it for being what they're calling the grandfather of AI run amok films, because that makes sense. It's probably the first one. But it's like all set pretty much in one room with a bunch of guys talking. So it's extremely boring in places. And I'm like, why? I don't know. So it's like, I just can't make up my mind. I feel like I should like it, but there's no real actors in it that stand out to me that I'm crazy about. So I'm like, I don't know. I'm just on the fence with this one.
Interesting. Okay. Well, we'll see how you feel at the end of it after knowing some of the little stuff about it, or after we deep dive and talk about it.
Okay.
It did have a very rocky road. Universal was like all gung-ho and supporting it to begin with. And then when they saw the final cut of it, they didn't like it. And they also based a lot of it on audience perception. When it was originally released, the critical response was really good to it, but the fan base or the audience response was not. So, and I'm trying to remember, I'm looking at my notes trying to find out what the original title. Oh, it was just called The Forbin Project.
Right.
When it was released.
And they killed it in April because it tanked, and then they re-released it in August, I think. Yeah. Yeah,
correct. Literally, I'm looking at the thing that, it grossed $7,000 its opening week. So
that's bad.
Yeah.
I mean, even for 1970, that's bad.
Yeah, that was bad. So they did a new poster, like you have. They retitled it Colossus. They redid the credits, re-released it, and then didn't support it at all and let it die. It did have a DVD release. It did have a Blu-ray release. But then in 2022, it was completely removed from all digital media. So if you didn't own it, you can't find it. It's not streaming anywhere.
Oh, yeah.
It's not on anybody's service. It's not available unless you own it. If you want to watch it, if you're listening or watching us and want to watch it, you can go to the archives, the Internet Archives, and find it and find the full movie.
Yeah, this is another one of those movies we picked before we knew we couldn't find it.
Yeah. Yeah. Which to me, my feelings are that's very sad because I really do like this movie. I agree with you. It's clunky in places. I'm not sure if it was the right director for this project because the pacing is really plodding all the way through it. But the concepts are great. The thought process behind it is cool. I even like some of the structure to it. I love the fact that they open up this big wall at the White House briefing room, and they've got basically NORAD there with all of these. It's a very Star Trek set with all these controls and big, huge map in the background showing the world and all of this. I like some of the performances in it by actors that I'd never seen before.
Well, that's another reason I think detracts, though, is it feels like a television movie because they're television actors.
Yes. Very much so. I do think that. And I also like the fact that they stuck to their guns and it does not end happy. This is not a...
Well, it doesn't end.
Yeah, well...
at all.
Well, hence going on further. So this was based on a book called Colossus. He actually wrote 2 novels to it. One was called The Fall of Colossus, and the next one was called Colossus and the Crab. And what was really cool about his trilogy was, and really they're combining 2 novels in this because The Fall of Colossus has to do with more with Guardian and what's happening in Russia and everything else. They get into that a little bit in this, but I don't know if the screenplay writers were saying, hey, we want to set this up for a sequel or not, but what's really interesting is they figure out how to control Colossus, and then at the end of the second novel, Colossus lets them know that he has sensed something entering the outer solar system, and that's how the novel ends. And the next one, Colossus and the Crab, is about how
there's another system.
Well, it's about how Colossus and Guardian protect the Earth from an alien invasion.
Okay.
So if we hadn't had them, we wouldn't have been able to survive.
Yeah, all that sounds cool. Why don't they redo it? Someone get Denis Villeneuve on the line.
Yes, he would be excellent to redo this. With updated technology and where we are, it would be really interesting.
Denis Villeneuve. Sorry, I mispronounced his name.
Yeah. Or the other one, who did the Ex Machina? Garland?
Alex. Yeah.
He would be good too. But
Or if you want to make it a little bit more actiony, you could get like Jon Favreau even.
yeah.
Yeah.
So were there any scenes that you did like, or any scenes you particularly just hated?
Well, before I get to scenes, I wanted to talk a little bit about the background.
Yeah.
You mentioned Joseph Sargent doing that Star Trek episode.
Yeah.
He also did Jaws: The Revenge.
Yeah, well.
And he did The Taking of Pelham 1, 2, 3, which is probably his most notable movie, I would think. But he also did an anthology movie I saw in the 80s called Nightmares with Emilio Estevez.
I do not remember that at all. Oh my God.
Well, that's because it's not good.
Oh, okay then.
Yeah. I think I rented it once and out the window. However, you mentioned James Bridges wrote the movie, and I wanted to point out that James was known for directing. I don't know how he ended up writing this movie. He directed The China Syndrome, Perfect, Paper Chase, Urban Cowboy, a lot of big movies, a lot of successful movies. But what I did not know is that James Bridges is gay, and his life partner, like their entire lives, I don't have his real name, but it was Jimmy Olsen from The Adventures of Superman in the 1950s. That actor was James Bridges' partner.
Okay.
I just found that very interesting.
Well, I've heard that gay people mate for life. So, that's what.
Oh, that's only penguins.
Gay penguins or all penguins?
Gay penguins.
Oh, gay penguins.
Maybe both. I don't know. As far as scenes, any of the dramatic scenes where you hear the sound and one of those words flashes on Colossus, like there is another system. Da, 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 da. There's your action.
Do you like the suspense in that? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah. I like that all of a sudden something's happened.
I like the opening montage. I thought that was a really cool hook, showing Forbin power everything up and then get rid of the bridge and seal everything. And you're going, what is going on?
Right.
And then closing the mountain, that huge blast door to close the mountain. I thought that was a good sequence and a really good teaser. And when we get into keys, I'll talk about that too.
Okay.
I also I agree with you. I liked the suspense they would set up when Colossus starts to take control, and the way the 2 or 3 times when he exerts his control. Like, there is another system was just basically an alert, but when he starts going, connect us or I'm going to fire a missile, I really liked that sequence. I like the other sequence when it's developing the language. And you're going, oh my God, they're talking to each other, and we have no idea what they are saying and what they are sharing. And that to me is kind of AI scary now. I mean, I do the same thing. The brief moments that I've ever interacted with ChatGPT terrify me for that. I'll say something and suddenly it'll come up with this incredible stuff. And I'm going, oh my God, how do you know all that? So that gets.
Because it's read everything.
Yeah. Well, so is Colossus at the time.
Right. I liked the humorous stuff. I liked the scene where he's trying to convince it that he needs to have sex 4 times a week.
4 times a week.
In private.
Yes.
And his reactions to the computer's questions and statements are really funny.
Oh, yeah.
And it is very Bond-like now that you mention it.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
And I've got in my notes, I like the first date too. I thought that was a really cool scene, the way they did it and the way they shot it. And, we both have to be nude.
Naked.
And the fact that they're both trying to act like they've been dating and had a mistress for a year and they haven't. They actually are just colleagues that work together. But a very Bond feel, a very 60s feel, a very Star Trek feel almost. That's a Captain Kirk scene. Totally. Yeah. We have to fake out the computer. So. But yeah, I can totally agree with you that the pacing in this is plotting at times. We kind of get the shtick really early on and it doesn't change or waver. The more power they give him, the more he will take, the less likely we are to ever get out of this situation.
This writer, D.F. Jones, did you read him like other stuff?
I did not. I had not read any of his stuff. I did, in my trivia, I found out that he actually worked in England on a computer system that was called Colossus, and inspired him to write the novel. As he was working through it, he was going, what would happen if this thing got smarter than we tell it to?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, my biggest gripe is the execution of it. Like you said, the concept's great. I'm not crazy about the cast or the direction. I just lost my train of thought for what I was going to say. Oh, well.
You're talking about the Jones and his writing.
Yeah, I just think it needed to be in this. The screenplay is very ambitious, or not the screenplay. The concept is very ambitious.
Mm-hmm.
The screenplay is not. And
well said.
Yeah, I feel like it would do much better if a modern writer, and like we said, Denis Villeneuve or whoever took it and made it into something better now. It's very clunky. The $6 Million Man computer graphics are very clunky. It's like watching war games now.
Yeah, same thing.
Yeah.
The technology in it, another trivia thing, the technology in it too is very contradictory almost. You're talking about voice synthesis and voice recognition and stuff like that. At the same time, you're doing these dot matrix printers and 8-bit reel tapes on the wall which was what was standard for computers at the time. So it's kind of like it's trying to imagine a future computer, but using modern technology at the time. Yeah, I totally agree. This is rife for a remake, even though I don't usually like remakes that much. If this one was done correctly, I think it'd be a really cool story.
Another problem what I forgot to say a while ago is with the screenplay, the problem I have is some logic. And like, for instance, why would you not make a kill switch? I don't understand why you would create this thing without a kill switch.
If I believe correctly from my notes, in the novel, it does have a kill switch, but it's a very Star Trek sort of thing where they go, okay, you're going to surreptitiously work on this kill switch. And when they finally get there, Colossus has already outthought them and said, yeah, I took that offline 2 days ago. They tried it with the two scientists who were going to try to overload, again, a Star Trek Kirk and the computer thing, or Kirk and the android thing. They were going to try to overload Colossus. And when it didn't work, he had them both executed.
I thought those were the ones that were deactivating the ignition sequences on the missile, wasn't it?
No. Those two guys had the subplot of they were trying to do this.
He actually blew up a missile on them. That's what it was.
Yeah, the guys that were trying to change the detonators or the controllers.
I said ignitions. I meant detonators. Yeah.
Yeah, for the missiles. Yeah, he just blew up the silo.
He just blew them up. Okay, I was for some reason thinking that was the
along with the Secretary of Defense.
Yeah, and that would be another scene to me that was very effective. Is him having those two guys shot, and then leaving their bodies out there
and forcing Forbin to watch it. Yeah. You could do a lot of subtlety too in the control of Colossus and the control of Forbin, and also he had a god complex. He thought he could make this incredible computer and it would only talk to him and it would only work with him. And you see how well that worked. So yeah. Cast, speaking of Forbin.
Well, I do have some cast members, although we really don't know much about them. Eric Braeden played Forbin, Dr. Charles Forbin. He is a German actor. His real name is Hans-Jörg Gutgast.
Yep.
And he is mostly known for doing 4,299 episodes of The Young and Restless.
Yep. He went on to do that, which is great, but I really think he wasted his time. I thought he was really good in this role. I even think he would have made an interesting James Bond.
Oh, yeah, I could see that. Originally, Charlton Heston and Gregory Peck were considered for this role.
Yeah.
But Stanley Chase insisted that it be an unknown actor, and that was his downfall. That's the first thing that killed this movie, is not having a known actor in that role. So that's how Eric Braeden got cast. Now, if Charlton Heston was in it, I'm not going to say it would be good, but I would probably appreciate it more.
Well, you do have a Heston-like, so yeah.
Well, he's a Shatner. He is the theatrical equivalent of William Shatner.
Yeah.
Basically. So there's always something to like about Chuck Heston.
I do have in my notes that he changed his name for this movie. Eric Braeden did.
Oh, it makes sense because he thought it was going to be a big movie. Yeah.
Yeah. And there was studio pressure too. We don't want you to be the German scientist.
No. And we can't pronounce your name.
Right. Takes up too much space on the poster.
Let's see. Susan Clark plays Dr. Cleo Markham. She is a Canadian actress, most known for Porky's and Webster.
Porky's and Webster, that's where you know her from.
She was married to Alex Karras, which to me is cool because I like Alex Karras a lot. And seeing her face now, I'm like, oh yeah, she was the mom on Webster.
I remember she was in one of the Airplane movies too. I don't know.
Maybe.
If not the first one, then maybe the...
But she's no Julia Haggerty.
No.
Or Julie Haggerty.
She's an airplane, though, not an airport.
Oh, I'm sorry. I thought you were talking about the comedies. You're talking about the real ones. Okay.
Yeah.
Got you.
Which also starred Charlton Heston.
No, he was in Airport 75.
I think she was too. She's the one that was in that with him.
But it's the best one. It's the one with Helen Reddy as the nun and Karen Black as the stewardess that can't fly this plane. And he's ground control, aircraft controller.
I want every light you have dumped onto that runway.
That's the one where the drunk guy in the little plane crashes into the front windshield. Of the jet. I love that movie.
So wait, the first one was a terrorist bomb or a guy who's suicidal bomb. The second one was the airplane hits it, and the third one was it went underwater or something
like that.
Yeah.
But the Airport 75 was the best one, and you could tell that. Well, no offense, but we are talking about Airport 75 instead of the Colossus. So Gordon Penzett played the president in this. That's him behind me. He is a Canadian actor that I really don't know from anything. Do you?
I don't either, but boy, howdy, does he have a John F. Kennedy sort of presence in this movie.
He does. He looks like Kennedy.
The haircut, the way he talks, he's so friendly. He calls him Charles instead of Dr. Forbin, all that. So, yeah.
William Schallert is also in this. We know him because he was in everything that was ever produced on television.
Everything. Every single series.
Including The Trouble with Tribbles, a Star Trek episode.
Yep.
He was also last seen by us in movies like The Incredible Shrinking Man and The Monolith Monsters.
Yep.
So we've seen him in 50 sci-fi movies. Very, very familiar face. Oh, he's in a lot of Joe Dante movies too, isn't he? He's definitely in Twilight Zone segment.
Oh, yeah.
For sure. He played CIA Director Grauber in this.
Yeah, I said the Secretary of Defense earlier. He's the CIA director who gets killed in the nuclear blast.
Yes. And then George Stanford Brown played Dr. John F. Fisher. He is known for Roots, but I did not know this. He was married to Tyne Daly, and they have 3 kids.
Really? I did not know that.
I did not know that either. I always thought Tyne might be a lesbian, but apparently she was married to an African-American man, and they had 3 kids.
He was a good actor, and I recognized him immediately. As soon as I saw him,
I did too, because he's like Ben Vereen's kid in Roots, and I haven't seen that in 40 years.
There you go.
Yeah. Willard Sage played Dr. Blake. He is another Star Trek actor. He was Than in The Empath, or Thawne.
Thawne. Yeah.
Alex Rodin played Dr. Kuprin. He is the Russian equivalent to Corbin that gets executed.
Yeah.
I don't really know anything he's done. He looks a little bit like Frank Gorshin in this picture I'm looking at.
Sort of, yeah.
I have a picture of him. No, I don't have a picture of him on there. Okay. And then Martin E. Brooks played Dr. Jeffrey Johnson.
Rudy!
He's another big television actor. He was Rudy Wells on the $6 Million Man and the Bionic Woman.
And the Bionic Woman, yeah.
Yeah, so we definitely recognize him. And if you had to get any more TV, could you get any more TV than Marion Ross playing Angela Fields? She, of course, was Mrs. C on Happy Days.
Yep.
So, yeah, this movie is laden with television actors. As far as awards, it won a 1979 Golden Scroll Award from the Saturn Awards. What is that? The Academy of Science Fiction, Fantasy, and Horror. Yeah. And that award went to producer Stanley Chase. And it is not on the 1001 Movies You Must See Before You Die list. So that's what I got.
I've got also for cast, Robert Cornthwaite is in this. He was a big Twilight Zone guy. He must have done like 10 episodes of Twilight Zone and a bunch of early Playhouse 90s stuff and all of that. And James Hong is in this.
Oh, you know what? I can't believe I don't have him. I must have not scrolled far enough down when I copied and pasted.
And he's Big Trouble in Little China, right?
Yeah. I do like him a lot. He usually plays bad guys. Yeah.
And the one I wanted to mention was Paul Frees. Paul Frees is the voice of Colossus.
Oh.
And if you look him up on IMDb, you will be amazed. He has over 370 credits.
Is it all voice work?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, he was known, his moniker was the Man of 1,000 Voices. He, War of the Worlds, When Worlds Collide, Monolith Monsters. He's the ghost host at the Haunted Mansion. That's his voice.
I am your ghost.
Yes. I
love that voice.
The voice of Boris Badenov. He did all the Rankin Bass movies, the Christmas ones, and all the Lord of the Rings one.
What is his name?
His name is Paul Frees. If you heard his voice, you would recognize it immediately. And they augmented his voice, of course, for Colossus because they wanted that synthetic sound added to it. But as soon as I heard it, you can tell by the timbre of his voice. You know it immediately.
He was a vaudevillian.
Yeah, started out in vaudeville, could do all these voices.
Because he's not bad looking, so he could have been an actor. I was thinking he must be 3 feet tall and deformed or something if he's done that many voice acting credits.
Oh, no, he was huge in Hollywood for voices. And for a while, he would be called in to impersonate Orson Welles because he could do his voice perfectly.
That's great.
Which is kind of cool.
Well, you won me with Ghost Host. I'm going to be looking into that.
Yeah, he's a great actor. I mean, great voice actor. Very good. Trivia, before we jump into keys real quick.
Sure.
A company called Control Data Corporation found out that Universal was doing this, and they said, hey, we would love to supply you with your computers. And they said, sure. So they could cut $4.8 million off the budget. This was in 1970.
Right. That's why they fill up rooms.
They donated $4.8 million in computers for this movie, which was great and cool. However, the one computer you see used a lot, which is the vocal computer that they use, the one with the big printout and everything, it keeps printing out just reams and reams of paper that Forbin and his scientists look over and everything else. That was the payroll computer for Universal.
And it said 000 for this movie.
Yeah, for this movie, you get nothing. Nothing.
I have some trivia as well.
Yeah.
Universal later reused the footage of Colossus as part of Cyborg, the $6 Million Man episode, before they began operating on Steve Austin to attach his bionic limbs. So a lot of this footage was taken and used on television later. We knew a lot of that went on in the 70s.
Yeah. Especially a lot of the close-ups of the panels and flashy lights and all that.
Or tape spinning.
Oh, tape spinning. Big, huge.
One thing I did find interesting is that Spielberg, who had just signed his contract to do Duel the following year with Universal Studios, was on set during almost all of the production, observing the film and probably learning what not to do, would be my guess.
Well, or maybe some shot structure stuff and pacing that he needed. Yeah, I thought that was very interesting, and I remember hearing that in an interview that he did.
Yeah.
He was influenced by Colossus. So that's a key too. He said he was influenced by Colossus.
Yeah. He was influenced by a movie we're covering next week too.
Yeah.
Hint, hint.
Hint, hint, hint.
So keys now?
Keys.
Let's see. We are moving fast. I mentioned earlier in this podcast that this is known as the grandfather of AI run amok films.
Oh yeah.
So any film, and the first one that immediately comes to mind is Terminator,
Yes.
and Skynet, and the Earth succumbing to the will of machines. Basically.
Well, and James Cameron, who usually doesn't admit that anything is better than him, has said a few times that Colossus definitely influenced Terminator.
Okay.
And he really liked this film and it was an influence.
Mm-hmm. So
My first one is Frankenstein.
Yeah, I could see that.
This is basically a Frankenstein story. Any technology run amok to me is a Frankenstein story, though. But if you focus on the creator, this movie's even named after him, Forbin Project.
It's just less organic.
Correct. Correct. But Forbin created this, and then it did stuff he didn't expect it to do, which is very Frankenstein to me.
I teased last week before we were going to do this that we seem to have a common theme going with the last few seasons, and that would be end of the world apocalypse movies. And so I've got Failsafe and Dr. Strangelove for those reasons alone. Dr. Strangelove is more of a comedy. This has comedic elements, but both movies pretty much take place in a room, with not much movement, just a lot of dialogue.
Yes.
So, yeah.
Yes. And both involve technology run amok still.
Right.
So, yeah, I agree with that. Also, along those same lines, I have Andromeda Strain. Because had this been directed by Robert Weiss, it might have been better, too.
This looks like it could have been a Robert Weiss movie.
Yeah, and it has a kindred, even look, feel to Andromeda Strain.
And Weiss clearly had a love for sci-fi.
Yes.
Because he did several.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
I have James Bond not only for the lead, but also for the grandeur of a lot of these sets. These sets are 2 and 3 stories tall, and everything else is big. And then they have this huge little assassination intrigue scene with helicopters and everything in the very middle of the movie. I went, okay, yeah, that's James Bond at the time.
Yeah.
So it's definitely an influence.
I also mentioned War Games earlier.
Mm-hmm.
But if you want to do the whole computer gone amok or turning on you, you would say 2001 as well.
Oh, yeah. You could say, I definitely think 2001 is great. I also have Ultron, if you want to go to that. Again, a guy who creates something that goes beyond him and starts being dangerous.
Ultron's a good modern example of it, too, where it makes a little bit better of a transition because it's in the modern age.
The two you have said before, Demon Seed and War Games.
Well, that's so funny that you said that, because I was going to say if you want to go on the clunky end of the past stuff, you could do Demon Seed and Westworld.
Westworld.
That way too.
Yeah. War Games. Yeah. Another literary reference, well, you've got the novels, which I mentioned too, which is The Fall of Colossus and then Colossus and the Crab. But I always go back to a Frederick Brown uber short story. It's a 1-page story, but I've mentioned it on the podcast probably a dozen times, probably, and you know it. But the name of the short story is called Answer. Just one word, Answer. And it's the one where all the people of Earth developed this big supercomputer. They've got all of these people here to turn it on for the first time. So you've got ministers and you've got generals and you've got politicians and all these people and the scientists, and they're all there and they power it up and everything else. And they keep talking to each other about what are we going to ask it? What's the first question we would ask the smartest computer ever made? This one guy goes up and types in, "Is there a God?" And the answer from the computer instantly is, "There is now," and it starts lightning outside. And that's the end of the story.
Who did you say that was by?
Frederick Brown.
Frederick Brown.
Yep. And I love that short story. It's so impactful and so true. You go, oh, That's just, yeah. Okay.
I mentioned more past clunky
Yeah.
connections. Some more future connections would be Megan, The Matrix, Ex Machina, all for different reasons. Some are robots, some are computer. It's the same theme.
Yeah, that AI run amok, like you said. So true. Yeah, those are really good ones. I hadn't thought of Ex Machina, even though I mentioned it.
I thought you mentioned Ex Machina.
I did for Garland, but not for the key element, which is great. I've got one that's just structural, which is Austin Powers, because the way he frames them getting nude in the date scene, Mike Myers does in Austin Powers in both movies, and makes it funny.
With the slide-ins.
Yeah, like the wine glass is just strategically placed in the perfect foreground.
Yeah. Okay, never mind. I was thinking.
Mike Myers has her holding up like 2 pineapples. It's just, it's that kind of tongue-in-cheek, you didn't get to see what you thought you saw.
Right.
Yeah.
That's funny. I had one other one that I couldn't think of which it was, but I was like, Harlan Ellison has written a story like this. I know he has. And the one that I found is I Have No Mouth and I'm a Scream, which is set against the backdrop of World War III. It's where a sentient supercomputer named AM, born from the merging of the world's major defense computers, eradicates humanity, and there's only a few people left, 5 to be exact. And that's really what the story is about, those 5 people. But the backdrop of the story is the foreground of this story, if that makes sense. So.
And the last one I've got is just what I've already mentioned. It's a very Star Trek original series trope of technology run amok, and you have to talk to it and interface with it to try to thwart it, so to speak. Kirk does it, I think,
like the motion picture.
Yeah, motion pictures the same way. It's essentially the Changeling story with Nomad.
The Changeling, the other thing that came to mind. Yeah.
But you've also got the androids in I, Mud. You've got Lazarus in Return of the Archons. Wow, I'm a geek about that series. But anyway, this is a primal sort of thing, and especially I think we'll see more of it influence going forward as AI becomes more integrated into every system of our lives. And hopefully will not get uber intelligent and try to take over and tell us what to do. There's Humanoids, that novel from the late 50s, early 60s, where we create subservient robots and we link them all together. And then one day you wake up and they've like removed all the forks on the entire planet, because they say our programming is that humans can't hurt themselves, and you could hurt yourself with a fork, so we're going to take it away from you. And then the next week it's knives. And then by halfway through the novel, they've got all these humans in padded cells. So
who wrote that?
Cannot remember who wrote Humanoids, but I'll look it up. But it was a great fear of technology episode 2.
Well, at least AI in the future will be aware of the needs that we have as sexual beings.
Yes, 4 times a week. Yes, we need that.
That's pretty funny.
And in private.
It was very understanding, too. I thought that to me was another thing that was a little logic. That was just weird, the whole privacy thing. I was like, I don't think he'd buy that. Just like I don't buy an eye having a kill switch.
Yeah, but so it would be interesting to have that and realize that, almost like Hal in 2001, that he's actually cheating. He's listening to them. And that way he could thwart them. I keep saying he, and it's a computer, so never mind.
It's got a male voice, though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Maybe it'll be a gender neutral computer in the remake. So, yeah.
And have a voice
non-binary. What do they call it? Non-binary. Yeah, it'll be Rachel Barrett's voice.
I am the computer. I am the computer.
Or what's the other one?
I am non-gendered.
5 alive. 5 alive. Yeah, that one.
Did I mention Megan? Yeah, I did mention Megan.
You did mention Megan, although I still have not seen that film. So.
Yeah, well, the sequel's about to come out. So.
That's okay. Yeah, I don't.
So the Colossus, the Forbin Project.
Yes.
You've got a gist of what we think about this movie.
Yes.
I think David admires it a little bit more than me, but I get his nostalgic cling to it.
Mm-hmm.
And I do think that had it been directed by someone like Robert Weiss, I may have appreciated it more.
Yeah.
That's what we think. What do you think? Have you seen this movie? Because if you have, then you either own a copy or you remember it from long ago, because it is very hard to find unless you go on the Internet Archive and watch it online.
Yes.
Going forward, we're glad that you're here.
Mm-hmm.
If you liked what you heard us say, or if you had other comments, we'd love to hear them down below. If you want to see other shows that we have, we've got some short shows on YouTube as well as Patreon, where you could support us even further. David and I would be very grateful for that to help supplement our cost in producing this show. We have some free stuff over there if you just want to dip your toe in the pool. However, there are some subscription shows to, guess what? Star Trek, the original series with David and I. And then, of course, we have an X-Files Declassified show where we've done, we're getting into the 3rd season of Star Trek and the 4th season of X-Files. So
yes.
We've got a lot of episodes over there, and we'd love to see you join us.
Hey.
And until next week, David, when I do believe we are back. We're actually staying in sci-fi next week, but it's classic sci-fi.
Classic, yeah.
Yeah, we're not going to shift it to horror just yet. It's got horrific elements.
It's scary, Tim. Monsters.
It's a double feature, too.
It's a double feature, yeah. All right. Well, I'll see you then.
I'll see you then.
Bye.
Bye.
You can't start the car. Johnny has